Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, okay, welcome to Rangers Radio. Jim, myself, Oxshire, on the show this evening is our AK and young Robert. Evening, AK.
Evening, Oxshire. Evening, Rob, the Takey team, and everybody that's listening.
Evening, lads. Good to hear from you. It's good to be on again tonight.
Aye, mate, aye. Listen, obviously we'd rather be playing midweek football at this time of the year, but it's not the case. It's been pretty unusual in the last few years, AK. Yeah?
Aye, it certainly has. Aye, it's something that we've got used to. But this season has been a season that's been full of disappointments and irregularities.
Has it been the maddest season you've known, Robert?
Certainly my generation, mate. It certainly is. I think you'd have to go quite far back to find the one that comes close or even compares to it. It's been a whirlwind of a season. And I tell you something, it's far from over yet. There's still many twists, many turns to go. And hopefully they go in our favour. But it's been a roller coaster of a season for Scottish football as a whole, never mind our club.
Aye. What about yourself, AK? Where does it rank for you, mate?
Excitement wise for the neutral, it's getting spoken about probably more than most seasons because of the competition and nothing's been decided yet. So for that point of view, I think the neutrals and that are enjoying it. You're in the mix. I'm not enjoying it to an extent, but when you're watching some of the games and you know the result is the most vital point of the game, that's where the enjoyment kind of gets lost. But for Scottish football's sake, it's kind of put us on the map a wee bit. It's not the best quality football, but it's certainly enjoyable for the neutral.
I think it is the maddest season. When you think back to that July, August, September, October time, it was mental, mate. It was bizarre. I don't think I've ever known. And if you continue that through to where we are now, it just doesn't add up. I'll be honest, I didn't think we had a chance of being anywhere near the close to the top of the league when we parted ways with Russell Martin. And in my opinion, I don't know if you do, Jim. I hoped. You always hope. But realism and hope are two different things, Robert.
It is, mate. It is. And listen, we were all honest about what was happening in front of our eyes. It wasn't good enough. We knew change had to be made. And it took time. Whether it was the right timing or it should have been done sooner remains to be seen. But as you said, it would have been some would class it as impossible. Others class it as difficult. But you never know. You look at it now and you say, well, we're back in the hunt. Does that show that we have improved? Does that show that Hearts have dropped off? Obviously, them across the city, they changed their manager twice. So what does it really say about the rest of Scottish football? But our focus is where we've been, where we're at, and what's next. That's a big question. What is next?
Yeah, that could be remarkable, really, if you think about it. If Danny Rowe can win this league and see our three managers in one season for a certain place, huh? AK.
Aye. The scythe, it has been out with a couple of them already, so they've been and gone. But it's been one of these seasons. But are you admitting that you had your white flag up there in October, Ox? Is that what you're telling us there?
Oh no, there's always hope, mate. I know that. I know
Oh
that.
God, we nearly got him, Rob.
I know.
He doesn't want a picture coming his way or a dancing video.
We used to on the show, men's are petrified, didn't they? Oh. they're really worried they're going to get 2 new entrants.
Aye.
No. Well,
Aye.
I'm being realistic, AK, right? You hope, yeah, but you looked at it, you thought, well, with the group of players we had, you thought, I don't know if this is going to get any better, any manager. And slowly but surely, we get a bit harder to beat. We improved in certain areas. We then get some decent results with it, being outstanding. You just hoped. The teams have come back to us, which have helped. Yeah, but I never thought that we would get that close at that particular point, mate. I'm being honest. I hoped. But if I'm being realistic, I didn't think it would happen. Yeah, and by the way, since then, if you take the last few weeks, at times it's been really frustrating because we could have been ahead. Robert.
We certainly can, mate. We certainly can be ahead, and we should be ahead. Let's be honest. There's been a lot of games where we've not played well enough to win the games of football. Now, I'm not saying we need the performance, but we've not looked like scoring. Easter Road highlights, obviously, very little chances. You go to the Livingston game, giving away 2 goals cheaply, and then doing enough to get a draw. Obviously, decisions later in the game could have went in our favour. I think there's a lot of decisions that have impacted games, but that's the state we're in, mate. If all the decisions went in our favour, we're clear. If we've seen teams off and scored the chances we created, the good positions we get into, we'd be clear. So that's where the frustration comes from. And a lot of people are obviously looking out there at those games in particular as the big moments that kind of go with their thought that maybe the belief isn't there. You hope, but maybe the belief isn't there that you're going to go and win this league. But I still hope and I still believe that we can do it.
Yeah, I would just love us to start winning more halves of football, AK, more regular. But I don't think we put ourselves in the same.
Aye.
We give ourselves a problem. If you actually look at it, yeah. Forget about extra time and penalty kicks. You know, with the last 6 halves of football, we've only won 2.
Aye. It's when you break it down like that, it doesn't sound good. But listen, it tells you where Scottish football is as well. Even though it is exciting for the neutral point of view for it being so close, but I think the standard, the quality, right across the league this year, I think the top teams have certainly come back to the kind of teams that are the also runs basically. I mean, your Hearts and Motherwells and St Mirren's and Hibs and Aberdeen, you'd be expecting them to shoot out the kind of the rest of the lower league, well, the top 6 lower league places between them. But because Rangers and Celtic have been that bad this year, we've got a 3-way contest there with Motherwell, causing a lot of damage with picking up points. But I tell you that the surprise team for me this year has been Falkirk. They got promotion last year and they've played a good style of football with a lot of young players in a small budget, and fair play to them. But that's what it's all about. Everybody's trying to jostle for position and win what they can out the season with their budget, and certainly our budget is just below Celtics, but above everybody else. So we should be up there challenging regardless.
Aye. I think that's where some of the frustration comes from. But that's the problem. Budget and sport don't necessarily go together properly.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You can splash all the money in the world and try and build a squad. It doesn't always give you success. Or you can have a smaller budget and just have guys in that are hungry to play football, determined to do their best at the club they're at, show what they can do on the pitch and see where it takes them. If it takes them onto pastures new at any club, into a bigger team, bigger league, then that's success for them as an individual. But it does, mate. It doesn't always work the way you spend money. It doesn't guarantee success. Not in Scotland, not in any league.
No. But I think we're all agreeing it's been the maddest season ever. I think it potentially is. I don't know if I've ever known anything like it. AK?
Aye. It's certainly there's nothing. I mean, probably the season where we got to the UEFA Cup final in 2008 was it with the amount of games that we had to play, but certainly for mad results and all that. Aye, this outweighs them all. But listen, there's I mean, imagine, forget Rangers, Celtic, Scottish League and that. Imagine you were like Spanish League and Barcelona had started off poor, right? And you're getting Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid a 13-point start and a 9-point start. Do you think they would claw that back to be on their tails? Because that's where Danny Rowe came in, you know. So I don't think the guy's getting enough credit. The squad of players was a downgrade for a squad that won nothing last year as well. We get rid of our top goal scorers with Dessers, Igaman, and Czerny as well. So I think the recruitment, I think we've been masters of our own downfall and we've just managed to plug away. It's not been great for that, as you say, but defensively, I think 22 games he's been in. He's got 11 clean sheets out of the 22. So he's had a foundation, he's had a philosophy, but we need to start scoring goals and putting games away better than what we are. But having said that, VR's contributed to a lot of the disallowed goals as well, where we could have been comfier as too.
Aye, but the funny thing is, it's when push is came to shove, mate. I would argue it's the defence that's put us in the situation we are in the last few months, maybe not over the season, Robert. Horrible. Go to death. Them in the league go to death. Livingston, 2 gifts. Well, no gifts. 2 bad goals, even though the first one was a really good finish. Yeah? You've never lost 2 goals. So I would argue that in the last short while, it's the defence that's gave us the issue.
I think you're right, mate, because I know people don't like a lot of people don't like the stats, but you look at the stats and it shows you Danny Rowe's first, I think it was 11 games, conceded 8 goals, and then he conceded 8 of recent in the last maybe 6 or 7 games. So certainly the defence isn't as tight as it was. I know we got a clean sheet on Sunday. It never causes too much a problem. But that is probably where it's faltered at defence. If we're not scoring enough to be comfortably winning games, then you've got to be sure and tight at the back. And that hasn't been the case. So we need to go back to whatever it was that worked when he first came in to go on the clean sheets, because it only helps you to win the game. You can keep a clean sheet, and as long as you're doing enough further up the park as well, it only takes one chance. We all said it on Sunday. 1-0 between now and the end of the season. As much as we'll be frustrated and the blood pressure's up, it wins you the league, mate. So you need to have both.
What do you make a story that's maybe dominating world football at the moment with the Senegal and Morocco? I don't know if you watched it at the time. It made the internet, you know, the scenes at the time and the controversy in the match. But after the event, the game's been awarded. Is that a sign of things to come, mate? Is that the game knackered? Thoughts?
Oh, it's mental. I managed to listen to a wee bit of Talk Sport today, and it's mental. And see the way the Moroccan ball boys and all that were carrying on with grabbing the towel off of the keeper, and it was absolute bonkers. But I don't know where the game's going. Is it that much? Is it financially worth that much to win something like that you need to resort to cheating? And then Senegal walk off the park. I mean, technically, I think the referee could have abandoned the game and then awarded Morocco the final, I believe. I think that's the rule. But because he doesn't, you carry on with the game and the final result surely stands in. I don't know. Listen, we had our own thing with COVID there a few seasons ago where we lost an email and people were wanting the season to carry on, but because of that, no, we're just decided that's it, done. And Hearts and Partick Thistle get relegated. You know, and that was farcical as well, Ox. I don't know where the game's going, mate. When it starts involving politics and you see all the charges with Man City still to answer for, but they're punishing other clubs. Barcelona can go £500 million in debt, but still buy £200 million players. One, it just doesn't seem right, ethically anyway.
I'm a bit concerned, Robert, because games are getting decided in boardrooms, courtrooms, etc. I don't know where it'll end, mate. I really don't. Yeah, every competition you have something looked at, and you might get challenges all the time. I don't know, mate. I really don't know. Now, it might be that somebody's right, and there might be a goal that's chopped off that shouldn't be chopped off, and it ends up in court. They might be right in that particular incident, but I don't know what that means for the game, mate. I really don't, because there's a game of emotions in it.
It is, but what it says to me, mate, is it's been said for years football's evolving, but it's certainly not evolving for the better, is it really? We've brought in VAR, goal line technology, and now all these kind of things taking place, as you said, out with a football field, in a courtroom, in meetings, discussions. Where does it end? Who's the one that's going to come out and say, this is where it ends, the final decision is this? It's not clear. As AK said, it's getting too political. There's a lot of factors contributing to it now. Football's changed over many years. I'm sure you guys can speak more than myself on it, but from years gone by, not many, not many years, but it's definitely changed, and it's not changing for the better. And it's probably only going to get worse before it can get better, if it ever can again.
What's your quick take on it? What do you think about decisions or games getting settled in the courtroom, AK? What does it mean? What do you think?
We've lost the place. We've lost the place. For me, the football it was a working man's game. I think that's the way it was introduced, and that's how you tens of thousands, a crowd traditionally every Saturday afternoon. Your day off, used to work in the morning, your half day off, to go to the game. I think emotion, the elation of scoring a goal and watching your team entertain you and play decent football, and that's what it's all about. And you listen to the old managers, your Bill Shankleys and your Bob Paisleys and guys of that ilk. It was all about entertainment for the crowd, and they wanted to, they had the Mavericks in the team. Things were structured. The team, all right, you can't win much if you've not got a defence, but you can win a hell of a lot more games if you're forward line. My dad spoke about Davy Cooper, Derek Johnson, Bobby Russell, Gordon Smith, Tommy McLean as a front five. He says it's the best five that he's ever seen play for Rangers, but score lines back then, it was used to be 7-3 or 8-4 or something like that. That was all about entertainment for the crowd, and you get Willie Johnsons and Willie Hendersons and Jim Baxters out of their teams. I mean, who can you point at now where that's a world-class player? They're getting less and less every year, Ox. I think they're killing again. I think the whole support thing element with the VAR decision thing too, it's just, as you touched on there, it's taking the emotion out of the game. And I don't know where football's heading here, because they're too much monopolised now. Competitions. You could basically say teams right across Europe, it'll be between they three that'll win that league, it'll be between they five that'll win a European competition. It never used to be like that. It's certainly not as blatant as that.
Yeah, the top five have monopolised Europe, if you like, for obvious reasons. They have got the biggest populations, just that tends to help you a bit, because we arguably as a country are punched way above our weight because of our population. If we're honest, one time it was remarkable what Scottish football done, really. But I'm just concerned, mate, that people, you go to the game and you win a cup. Right or wrong, mate, there might be a bit of controversy in it, but that was part of the game. And then 6 weeks later, you lost the cup. Oh, no, I really don't.
No, it sounds silly, Ox, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing about it. It just sounds silly. The game of footballs might be played, whether it's 90 minutes, extra time, penalties, and the cup competition is decided on the day. There might be controversies within the game, but the final result for me should stand. I know it wasn't very gamemanship what happened in that final. There was a lot of kind of unsportsmanlike behaviour from both sets of players and teams, but ultimately the team that won should have the title or the cup at the end of it. There's no point starting this sort of a decision's been made, because, as you say, where does it end? Because what happens next is somebody look at that decision and say, well, let's look back and see if there's any other errors and start changing things that have happened just to because of this one decision. That's when it becomes crazy, it becomes ridiculous, and it's not football. It's not the way football's meant to be, and that's where people lose the passion for it.
Right. It's a concern going forward, but with above pay grade AKA.
Well, I thought you were trying to win me and Rob some Mensa points here with this thought process tonight. But nah, you're right. You're right. That is a concern. I seen a comment there for Marco Bielsa saying that football, they're starting to lose the plot. Just can't watch games now. Rude to it. Switches off when he's watching Chelsea Arsenal there a couple of weeks ago, just saying it's boring pedestrian football. I mean, your wingers in that used to excite you. Your Mavericks used to excite you. Your strikers would score some fantastic goals. A Marco van Basten or a Dennis Law, guys of that ilk. Where are they players now? I mean, it's all just pass, possession, keep the ball, don't give the ball away. That's fine. You're not going to concede many goals, but you're not going to score many goals, and then we lose the kind of aspect of football is entertainment. It's meant to be an entertainment business, but then you go to the prices of the pundit. You're paying punters coming out of the gates. Most season ticket holders now, Ibrox, you're not kicking the backside off of £1,000, and that's taking it away for the working class man. There's not many people can afford that, but they'll still sell their tickets, but you're losing a generation there, I think, Ox, and it's no good for the future of the sport.
There's an issue with season tickets when there's a high take-up, mate. Yeah, it's great for the club and great for the business, mate, but how do you generate new support, the future support?
Correct, because your season ticket holders, a good majority of them, yourself, you've been a season ticket holder for, 30 year plus, 40 year plus?
Don't comment.
You know what I'm saying, though. But anyway, listen, there's a lot of supporters, the season ticket holders, they spend a fortune and they're placing good on them if they can afford to do that. That's their prerogative. Have you lost a bit of atmosphere at Ibrox because of that? Because you can't stand with your pal? And again, go back to my dad, used to stand with his pals and his brothers and that in the terracing. In certain bits of Ibrox, you used to, it's always, you don't have that now. That's your segregated seat. Is that a factor of why Ibrox isn't as vocal with the support? The only group of people that get to choose their seat basically is your UB and your ultras, and that's where the voice comes out of Ibrox now. Is that a factor? It's I don't know where we're going with this game here, but certainly doing in England, it's just monopolised that much. It's companies rather than supporters. That's taken up. I mean, last night I noticed Real Madrid, Man City, Real Madrid. What was that? Last 16 in the Champions League. Top deck, Man City closed off.
Aye, it shows you where they are, mate. Even they tickets would have been sold before the first leg, and it would have mattered. Yeah, but people are waiting. Maybe the customers get a wee bit more savvy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Arguably, it did turn out to be a bounce game, but if Real Madrid get the player sent off and Man City score first, it could be a real exciting game. You might not get through, but it could have been really exciting, Robert. But I don't know. I fear. I get it. I mean, for our club with the season tickets, and you want them all sold out because it's good for the club. But I've got concerns how new families get. People start taking their kids. Now there is cup games and all that you'll get tickets for the season, but to get people involved. But I'm genuinely concerned that you want to keep having new supporters to the future.
You always do, mate. You always want to bring in the the next generation of supporters. There are a lot of families that have been season ticket holders for many and many years, and they want to take their children and grandchildren and keep it going through the generations for the family. But it is a worry. How do you breed that in? How do you get them in? Because even when tickets go to general sale, you're never guaranteed a general sale ticket next to your family member, as Ake has said as well. So it is a difficult one, whether that's the thought process of the owners, maybe looking at an expansion, which isn't going to be a quick fix, isn't going to solve everything. There's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons when you think about it, the big picture of it. But maybe that's what they're thinking. The bigger the stadium, the more bums on seats, the more season ticket holders. And it could be people who have been waiting for a number of years that maybe don't want it themselves. They'll pass it to a family member, a child, a grandchild who may be of age that they could go to the games more often. Maybe that's the only way you can get it, mate, is through an expansion, which is obviously being suggested, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight.
And sometimes with the general sales, you get real riff-raff sitting next to you, Robert.
You do, but we're all there to support the team, mate. Just fortunate
Oh.
enough you were a couple of rows behind me.
Real riff-raff, okay. That's absolutely disgusting.
Oh well, I hope he polished his shoes before he went in that bit.
There's only rules of such. You know the rules, mate.
Your
No, but
cravat.
a
Do you
general
have your
concern-
cravat in, Ox?
a general concern. If you take a lot of people at Ibrox now, a lot of them would have went to their first games and that would have been lifted out. That would how they were in. I mean, it's no toddlers, but young kids, yeah, took with their traditionally their father, you know. And how do you start taking your family? It's difficult, you know. Forget about the expense. If you can afford it first and foremost, and you're maybe desperate to go, and the kid's desperate to go. Remember when in GB, the pictures of his wee boy when he appeared. It was fantastic when he appeared at when they took him along, you know. So Andy's little girl when they took her as well, but it's a concern because we want to grow the club, we want to keep the interest, and unfortunately, we're not here forever. So things have to evolve, and I don't know how you do it. I really don't, because the watching crowd's changed. It's slowly becoming a mere family game than a male dominated game. Still male dominated, but not such a high percentage. AK.
Aye, there's certainly more females and more children going to the game than maybe what didn't happen in the 70s and 80s and that. So it's definitely developed that way. But aye, you're right, it is a concern, and I'm pretty sure that the people in the boardrooms up and down Scotland would be thinking of that, how to entice. I caught a programme last night, I don't know if anybody else did, talking about the ultras and things, how much are they in favour of them and the good that they bring to the club, but also the other side of the club, the kind of bad elements, so to speak, the hooliganism and things like that. Are you pro? Are you for that? Are you against that? And the Partick Thistle ones in particular, it was all young boys, you know, and the guy, the CEO, or the no, the CEO, the public, what's the guy's name? The officer,
The fans liaison
public,
officer.
public relation liaison officer.
Fans liaison.
Aye. Well, he was the kind of the guy that was overseeing early access to the stadium, so they could put out their flags, and he seemed to have a good relationship with the young guys, and he was quite happy because he said that listen, the young boys are there and they sing their entire the 90 minutes and bring the atmosphere to the game, and they were hoping to entice others to come along with them. So that aspect. You want noise in stadium. You want to fill the stadiums, and in general, I think most grounds are, you know, they're well supported. Obviously, the lower league ones, you'll still be talking about under a thousand and stuff. Possibly there's too many clubs in Scotland, but it's their club. They've been brought up in that club, so who are we to tell them that, you know, that we can't afford to have them in the pyramid sort of thing? So there's a lot of aspects you can touch on, and it'd be interesting to see the likes of how other countries do it, the Germans and Italians, Spanish, French, English, obviously. I think the UK in general is well supported up and down the length and breadth of the country,
Aye. What would you do, Rob?
To get a new generation of support through.
Is it too simple a solution? You make the ground bigger, but what happens if supply? You've got too much supply and not enough demand, and then it's no cost effective, and you've actually hurt the club. But how do you get it right? How do you that risk and reward, and how do you get the new punters in? Because the Broomloan stand was meant to be started out being the family stand, but as the families become young men or young girls and young ladies, and the fact they're still going with their parents or whatever, where do you put them? Unless when you reach a certain age, they'll get first offer to get moved through the stadium, and then other families come in behind them. I don't know, mate. It's not an easy one for me.
No, it's far from easy, mate. It's far from easy. Because there is no obvious solution, as you said. An expansion sounds good because you've got a bigger crowd, more people in, more bums and seats, more ticket sales. But then, as you said, if you've got the demand and the reward, does it come with it? And if it doesn't, then the club suffers for it. So it is that balancing of risk and reward. One thing I said, even this season, was the cup games, particularly against like the likes of Annan, Queen's Park, was do sales for families and try and get young generations in. I know it's like a one-off game here and there when the cup kind of falls in an opponent like that, but that's an opportunity to get young fans in with their family members who maybe don't get to a lot of games, see what it's like, soak in the atmosphere, try and see the players up close after the games, have a good day out with their mum, their dad, their granddad, whoever it may be, and give them the buzz and the taste for it. And then hopefully it gives them that flavour that they want to go back. And hopefully somehow there's a solution that we can get them back and get them in Ibrox. And that is the next generation. And it'll continue on. But how you do that to start with, I don't know where you would even start, mate. I'm glad I'm not in that position to think it because I couldn't make an answer up here right now.
No. Aye, all right. We digressed a wee bit there, Kate, didn't we? We digressed. We're getting the phone lines open, mate.
Aye, that'd be great, aye. Any calls, get any opinions, come in and give us them. That'd be great.
Any questions for Einstein and his mate on here tonight, yeah?
That you and Rob?
No, mate, no. I'm taking the fifth on that one. Take the fifth. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, mate.
I've not got a Scooby-Doo.
I just fun enough, the thing about season tickets in my head, because obviously we've delayed a wee bit, maybe a wee bit of organisation. I don't think it will affect anybody who's going to renew. People, if they don't renew, it'll be for their own particular reasons, But that's what made me just trigger. It brings a lot of certainty to the business side of the football club. I don't think it's good necessarily for supporters, because if you've got a bad seat, you're always trying to move. If you're not going with your mates, it's a different kind of enjoyment. You have people sitting on their own, which never happened in the past decades. You mentioned, well, never happened, if we're honest, pre-Souness, yeah. Pre-Souness, so it's nearly 40 years. So you go back to people sitting together. It's very enjoyable when you're with your friends, family. And maybe, as you say, maybe brings a better atmosphere because people are more comfortable. So there's pluses and minuses and everything you do, Robert.
There is, and it's about, as you said, balancing the risk and reward. Obviously, we want to move forward as a club. We want to try and get supporters in. You've got to have the brand on the park as well. The good players, the success with trophies to get the excitement and the buzz back. The fans will always be there, I mean, we've been at our darkest hours over the years, and the fans have always stuck by us. So you're always going to get the support in. It's just how many can you get in? How many supporters will you be able to fill Ibrox with? But also, as you said, manage the financial restrictions on it as well, so that you're not overspending on a stadium structure and leaving yourself short elsewhere. So there's a lot of balancing to be done. But I just seen a comment there on Facebook, mate, just before you open the lines. Our Tosh from Blackpool says that he would like to see one of the corners made into safe standing, just for the atmosphere wise as well.
Yeah, I get the safe standing, but I've not got a problem with it. You know, I get it. The trouble is with what you've done with safe standing, it doesn't put any more capacity in your stadium, does it?
No, no less what Tosh is thinking of taking away the screens and that as well, because I think that's been spoke about by a lot of his support. But listen, I think that a lot of the big games, a lot of the Rangers support stand anyway, you know. So that's interesting.
Aye. Listen, I get it. You know, different atmosphere, get it. Well, I think there's a bit of conversation let's say, maybe going to take place the next few weeks, or where some of the people that like to stand might be sitting. I think that's coming out as an all. And we'll deal with that when it happens, Robert.
Aye, there's certainly a lot of things in the background, I'm sure of it. Obviously, they put out the consultation as well about the stadium and things like that as well. So there's certainly work in the background of how we can move forward and improve things around the stadium as well. And I'm sure the supporters' voice will be the thing that everybody listens to, and rightly so, because it's supporters who are working hard, spending their hard-earned cash week in, week out to go to the games. So their voice is crucial, mate.
Yeah. Let's hear from these.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, come on, use that thing. Give us a call. What would you do would you go to a match on your own, AK? I bet that maybe you're not the right one to ask. You need pals and that. Robert, would you go on your own?
Yes, mate, I would, and I have. I've been to a game myself. You always meet people up there that you know anyway, but the travelling, up to the game, you would do it yourself. You go and sit yourself. But aye, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's probably a few people that have done it over the years, went to the game because it's a thing they enjoy. They love to see the Rangers play. So, aye, I would go.
Would you rather go with your pals?
Depends what pals. I was listening. It's a day out. It's meant to be a day out with your pals, and it starts from when you get up in the morning. You go and meet them up, a couple of drinks before it, go to the game, and see where the night takes you. You make a day of it, and it's a thing where you and your pals can go and enjoy. Football is a release as well. See when you've got problems as well, and I'm sure a lot of us have been there. You're through some problems personally. You go to the football, it takes your mind off it. That 90 minutes, an hour and a half of just being you and looking at the game, watching the team you love, that sometimes just helps people as well. So if you do it yourself, then credit to you. And if you do it with your pals who's there to support you as well, then that's a big thing as well. So football gives people a lot to do, mate. A lot. It helps people a lot.
What would your choice be, AK? You know, I think I'd rather have the social interaction with my muckers.
Aye, of course, if that's possible.
With some of my pals, you'd rather go on your own, to be honest with you, but that's another subject.
I've done both many a time. Going to the football with my dad and my boy was quite special for a few years. But going supporters buses or whatever, you always get a good atmosphere pre the game. Have a few cooking sherries. But I've also done the driving to the game many a time, just myself and that. And either or, I still get the same feeling when I'm going up that concourse and going out the stairway to see Ibrox light up in front of us. Still get the shivers up the back of the neck. I don't think that'll ever change now. It's a special place, Ox. You've seen it lit up dark at night. It's as if you've got some ghosts out in the park. Shall we say, you kind of goals, memorable goals come into your head, you know. It's a special place. It's described as a museum, of course, isn't it? The
But
kind of
there's
building and
also
everything.
the people you're with. When I think back, I think about games, and I think
Mhm.
maybe who I was with, and you know, the whole day. I don't just think of the 90 minutes. Maybe that was my trouble. Maybe I stayed out too much. You know what I mean? But it's all part of it. Your fans and then meeting people and building relationships. And some guys you might meet and become friends at the football UK. You know.
Of course, because it's generally these are all season ticket holders and have been for a number of years. You get to know each other and you celebrate each other. I mean, many a time you were in the old enclosure. I remember that the first time, first Old Firm game was the Angel Ant. I think it was the first televised game, Ox, the 1-2 with David Cooper.
August 8th.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was with my dad in the enclosure, and I ended up nowhere near where I was standing because you were getting passed about, and the elation of scoring a goal. It was phenomenal. And as a young boy, that forever stands in your memory, as you have done in the terrace and at Hampden and that, and the special occasions when Rangers have scored a goal or won or that, you know. This party going to football, as Rob's touched on there, it's your release. You know, you can forget about all your troubles and just go and watch your team and cheer them on to win, score goals. But entertainment, I think that's been lost, as we touched on earlier.
I've got two stories about that game. I can't tell them on air.
Oh, you could tell one of them, surely.
No, I can't. I couldn't tell any of the two on it.
Easiness.
Oh dear. Oh dear. True as well. Builders. Anyway, right. Look, come and join us, give your thoughts. How do we grow the club? People get criticisms of my jersey. I'm going to park the ticket side of my jersey. I don't have a problem with it, personally. Yeah. I'm not in it for it's just a part of supporting the club. The tickets are a small party for me. The fans asked for it. The fans asked for it. They wanted a membership scheme, and we done it, and we still get criticised. You know, and I think personally we should have a lot more people in it as part of membership and part of the club. Maybe we should look that you can maybe get a share through it, and then you become not just a Midgers member, you become a shareholder. Does it matter if you've got 1 in 1,000 AK? You're still a shareholder.
That's a good point, Ox, because you're part of the club forever more then.
Aye.
Listen, I think it is a good scheme in the fact that I just look at it as a donation back to the club. You know, I'm not looking for tickets to prioritise tickets for certain games or that. I just see it as a donation. Everybody's financial position is different. The
Aye.
club give you a wee kind of minding sort of thing every other year as well, and obviously they thank you for the donation that you're getting. But see, when you see the membership schemes, like say Benfica and Real Madrid and Barca and Bayern Munich, and the big massive clubs and institutions that they are, I think the last figures was like 38,000. I'm not sure whether that's accurate now, but we should have a lot more than that, considering the worldwide support that we have, you know, as a club. And basically what it gets sold is that money's going direct to the manager's kitty to try and buy his new players. It had nothing to do with the actual running of the club. So why people don't buy into it, it's their prerogative. But 50 quid, it's less than £1 a week, you know. So that's just the way I see it.
Aye. I get people have to get the cash. Listen, times are hard for a lot of people, and I get it. You know, you can't just 50 quid's 50 quid, you know, and I understand fully. Also get what people are at life when you're starting out on the road and you've got a young family and your interest rates just went up if you're fortunate enough to have a house, or your job, your overtime you've got. Everybody's been there,
Ox, can I
Yes, sir.
just add something there before you go to Rod? Do you think the amount of merchandise that the club is putting out now actually has affected the sales of the managers? Because you look at all the 4 strips that we keep going on about, and then all the training tops, and then all the joggy bottoms, your winter coats, your puffers, that's when it's getting too much, I think, for the family person. I don't know if anybody else agrees there.
Well, there's pros and cons in that. You're getting it's not an emotional thing. You're getting something for your dough. I just wish we wouldn't wear the other strips so often. I like to see Rangers playing blue, but that's just me, Robert. But there's an argument, AK. You're killing the goose that laid the golden egg. And everybody. It's again, you're putting pressure on people, maybe young kids and families who want the strips, whereas as people go through their life, they'll get maybe more disposable income, not as much as Bridge, I may add. You more disposable income as you get older, and then you maybe don't go to that. Well, not everybody's circumstances is the same, but that's what historically happened within reason. You've not got a young family with the expense that is, just when you're starting out, and it is a lot of money to keep running out for. If you've got a couple of kids, that's 8 strips you've got to buy. If you're trying to buy them all, but they maybe get value for them if they're never after back, Robert.
That's the thing. It's a souvenir for some people. People maybe take their tops to games, and if they get them signed, it becomes a memento for years to come. And you can see they've got it signed by past players, hopefully successful players on them as well. But I don't think there's an issue with the amount of kind of quantity of what we sell as a club merchandise. I think we're just outpriced. A lot of families and a lot of people, as you say, there's a lot of circumstances. I get the world's gone mad with kind of financial restrictions in the economy, and it's kind of been its own way. But I think that there's a lot of people that are just outpriced for the price of a shirt. You could take it. You can go back a good few years ago. You would probably get a full strip for the price of a top only these days. So we're certainly hurting a lot of pockets. And as you said, a lot of kids will ask for them because they like the kit, their pals have got it, they want one themselves, and no parent wants to see their kid sad that they've not got it. So you'll do your damnedest to go and get it for them, regardless. I just think the way the money is these days in the world, outpricing a lot of folk, and that probably goes as well with tickets and merchandise. Just a day out at the footballs became expensive, and that's probably its own fault. Nothing the club can change other than their own kind of things that they can price, but that was very, very far and few between, if we're honest, because it's all companies and businesses that are trying to make their incomes before anybody else's.
Aye. Listen, the thing about the strips, you don't have to buy them, right? It's as simple as that. But life's not that simple, AK, is it? When you get young family, is it? When you're a grown up and it's just you don't have to buy them. But kids and they want, and look, people do what they have to do to try and do what they think's right for their kids. But it's a different pressure on you then, and I get it. I understand that's difficult, because they're wanting to show support from their club.
Of course, aye. That's the bottom line. But your parents, you love your kids to bit, and
sometimes.
but your kids will notice their pals have got the up-to-date Rangers tap and the up-to-date this and that, and they'll say to their mum and dad, and then it's a look of disappointment because the mum or dad might not be able to afford it. I mean, my parents, were good to me, good to us as kids, but we didn't. We spent within our budget. I work in council houses, Ox, and I speak to people.
Whoa.
No, I know, but I'm just going to.
You attend. Let's get it. You attend.
No, but Christmas time when that comes, Christmas time, a single parent there, you know, and the lassie's having to go in debt just because she loves her kid that much and she doesn't want to, you know, see the disappointment in their face and Christmas Day and all that. But that's what some parents are willing to do. But that's where society's got us, you know, the economics. It's hard for a lot of people out there to live within their budget. You do what you can do, but it's just you feel as if you're a cash cow all the time for the club, whether that be season ticket holders, whether it be just buying into managers, you know, buying merchandise. Everybody's trying to put as much as they can back into the club for what they can afford. Others are more fortunate than some, but it's hard. It's no easy. But for the love of the club, that's how we do it, you know.
Aye, aye. I've not got the answers. I've not got the answers. Just try to make it better for the support and better for the young kids as well, you know, when they get involved with our club, because it's a lifetime commitment, Robert.
It is, mate. It is. It's a football club for life. It's ingrained in you from a young child, passed down from your family members of generations, and you carry it on. So when you do see new kits and you want the kits, and you just say it's not a need, it's a want. You want to have the kits, you want to help the club, putting money in via merchandise, ticket sales, anything at all, like match days, to help the club, because the club's going to be there and you'll be there for your lifetime, your generation, and you'll pass it on. And that's how we're talking about tonight. How do we bring the freshness back into the club? How do we get the next generation to get to games, get involved with the club? A lot of stuff, obviously, the Rangers community does a lot of stuff in and around Glasgow with the young kids at schools and projects, and that's good to see. But getting to the games and doing things that with your family seems to be getting a lot harder these days. And that isn't just in the club.
46 on a Saturday night doesn't help, does it?
No, it doesn't. And as I was going to say that, mate, it's a lot of things are out with the club's control. TV packages, kick-off times, prices. It's all stuff done by third parties that the club don't really have a say in. And that's where the stumbling block comes of, well, the club can't change it. Who can change it? They're not doing it for the benefit of the support. They're doing it for the benefit of themselves. And that's when the supporters hurt.
Aye. I don't know if the Scottish TV deal's worth the commotion it causes, AFK.
No, certainly no. The Premier. I was actually, it's a good topic you bring up there, Robin Ox, because I think that the people who can solve this problem is the top of the three, UEFA, FIFA, to delegate. I mean, they've allowed the monopoly of the Champions League to develop with your French, English, German, Spanish, Italian clubs. They're the top leagues because they've got the most finances. See if UEFA started to spread the wealth out a bit more, then I think that would help a lot of the leagues, a lot of the clubs and a lot of the leagues. Obviously, the big boys wouldn't be happy with it, but you're talking about the future of the game here, and you're talking about a lot of clubs that's starting to disappear because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and they're running out of money, and you know, disappearing out again. There's been already a couple of examples down in England. What was it Bury? Ox was one of them, but there are clubs like that up here as well, on the brink financial ruin, and you've got to be careful there about what we're doing. So I think the top of the three has got a responsibility to look after a lot of the leagues and watch where the wealth is getting distributed better than what they're doing, because they were all on a bit of Super League and things like that, and basically that's what you've got just now. But I think the TV companies, you know, I mean, Scotland public, 5 million people, we all pay the same subscriptions to Sky to watch Premiership games rather than Scottish games. So we're putting in the pot and we're getting a rotten deal because the head of the SPFL, Doncaster.
Be careful what you say, mate. Be careful what you say. It's not actually correct, mate.
Well, It's
Thank you.
but you.
You what I'm saying? I'll give you a step for that.
Aye, okay, but it just
Yeah.
feels like that. It just feels like
How people watch the football, yeah.
that. Oh, I know. Aye, I know. Aye, but you know what I'm saying. That if the wealth get
That's how
distributed,
you'll never get any Mensa, mate. You'll never-
I didn't want in there anyway. Don't like cravats
Oh,
and
it's some
monocles.
pub. You got a lovely tie, mate. It's a lovely tie.
I'll take your word for it.
I won it. I did. It was a raffle. Aye. But if we're selfish, Robert, we're only interested in our own team, eh? You know, but even though we have debated on the show about the good of Scottish football, we think there's a lot of things that would help. You know, you watch that game on Sunday. What do you think? 50%? Maybe more. And what you could see on the telly was empty seats. And there's people scrambling for tickets. I don't understand it, mate. I really don't.
No, I don't understand it either, mate. And it's not a good advert for Scottish football. I know we're focused on ourselves, but when you turn on the telly and you see a Scottish Premiership game, I mean, even if you don't look at Sunday, go to Hibs v Rangers at Easter Road. How many green seats did you see lying empty? They had a section behind the goal closed off because they cut the Rangers tickets, and all they done was cover them with stewards or flags or empty. It's not a good look. Look at Livingston, or complete opposite. They fill their stadium fully of away support. Rangers get free stands, and Livy go, well, we'll take the money. And that's the right way to do it, because why shut out the supporters? Aye, it's not your support you're letting in, but they're bringing in income and money. They're realising that if they don't, then they're damaging themselves. But it's not a great look when you see a game that could be of significance, or past times it's been a competitive fixture. There's excitement in it, there's goals in it, and half the stadium is empty. It's just not a great look, mate, for Scottish football as a whole. And it's obviously our support are crying out for tickets, doing the hardest to get tickets, and there's empty seats available. Just let them in. Let the support in. Football's nothing without supporters. You've seen that during COVID. It was nothing without supporters. And it's the supporters that are actually suffering at the end of all this. Clubs will suffer as well financially, but it's the supporters that suffer when they can't get tickets and they're trying their damnedest to find it a way to get into games.
Aye. I get it. If somebody has got the right stadium and fill it, you've no complaints. But when you see on Sunday there, I don't know your take on it. I thought, what's about 50% full? Why no move them and make a lot more money for your own club? I don't understand it. Really don't, AK.
It's pretty simple. They hate us coming to town and don't want to have us overtaking the ground. It's pretty simple for me. But they're killing themselves. And when they produce their balance sheet every year, they'll show that they're making losses, and then they'll scratch their heads why the future of the club is under threat. Well, it's self-harm what they're doing to themselves in Scottish football, because as Rob says, they're no selling Scottish football when you see empty seats round about. So that's maybe why Sky are coming to us with a substandard deal, and we're accepting it, you know.
I think the numbers of Sky will be the numbers that watch the games on a whole, mate. You know, and I think that's a small thing, but I don't think it helps for brand that is Scottish football, Robert.
No, it doesn't. It's, as AK said, it's those that are sitting at the top table that can change this and influence it. And if they come out and say that Scottish football's dying, or it's slowly not becoming what it wasn't, then they'll only get themselves to blame. They're the ones that are changing it or not changing it for the better.
All right. Get yourself a mute, gentlemen. We're going to have a tune.
started down in Flesher's Hall. They didn't even have a bar. Those four lads, they gave us all the Rangers we all love. Ibrox home to you and me, our blue heaven, you will agree. 50,000 flocked to see the Rangers we all love. The Saturday comes and the Bears will stroll along, shout and cheer and sing our songs. We don't care win, lose or draw, we're the greatest of them all. In this game they call football, it's Rangers we all love. Come on! Rangers fans the whole world o'er, all the loyal to the core, and support forevermore the Rangers we all love. Oh. The Saturday comes and the Bears will stroll along, shout and cheer and sing our songs. We don't care win, lose or draw, we're the greatest of them all. In this game they call football, it's Rangers we all love. Rangers fans the whole world o'er, all the loyal to the core, and support forevermore the Rangers we all love. Rangers fans the whole world o'er, all the loyal to the core, and support forevermore the Rangers we all love.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. A powerful tune, that, eh? Powerful tune. We're back, gentlemen.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Aye, brilliant. Great tune.
Aye, I like that one. I like it.
Do you think it's fair to try and grow my cheers, Robert?
No, I think it's got its pros, Fox. I think we can all see what it was sold for, or what it was brought in to do. As you say, the fans have asked for it. I suppose it's down to the individual of what they want from it, is whether they see if it's beneficial or not. As you said, people might be in it for tickets, people might be in it just as helping the club. But I think it's got its pros and cons depending on what you as an individual want from it. But I think it's been a good thing, mate. I just think I agree with you, though. I think there should be a higher number involved in it. I know there's a lot of factors that will contribute to that, but if we can, then let's get adding to it as much as possible.
AK?
I think it's a good club thing for the club. I mean, any membership scheme that attaches yourself to the club and you contribute to the club is good for the club financially. But there's a downside that I've seen to it this year as well. Earlier in the season, when we were under our previous manager, no mention him, done an interview the other day. But when the crowds were falling away, there were people putting videos of themselves out there. You know, just, there's my ticket, but I'm not getting in. Or people getting in, having a look round about and then walking straight back out, just so they can get their Myers points for that game. What's that about? I don't get that at all, mate. That's the downside of the thing for me.
Mm-hmm. That's the ticket side of it. That's a whole different debate, I think.
Aye.
Yeah, and that's a hard riddle to solve, mate.
Because
you've got to look after your customer base, yeah, who have been loyal to you. But how do you bring in? It's the same argument, mate. How do you bring in new fans?
Aye, but you're a season ticket holder. Is your loyalty not to go out there and support the team? I think that's logical for me.
I think the people that do that is because of tickets, and that's because that becomes a whole different debate. That's my just for me is no. It's part of if that's what you want to do, and I've had tickets off it myself, and I'm well up in the scheme personally where I sit, but it isn't just about tickets for me, but there's some people it is about tickets, and they want to get away games by hook or by crook. And the only way you'll maybe get them, unless somebody gives you them, is through managers. But that's a whole different debate. I think there's some of that about the season tickets that we talked about. You have to go to look after people who deserve to look after loyal customers. Yeah. But you've also got to constantly evolve. And I'm not saying that 10,000 get kicked out every year and you let 10,000 in. I'm not saying that at all, but it's a real hard it's a conundrum, Robert, isn't it?
It is, because as you say, you want to evolve. You want to breathe in new life as well into the club. And listen, there will be people who have been there for many, many, many years. And as I said earlier in the show, if they're not able to get to games as much as they used to, they'll pass the ticket down to their family member and generations. But how does the schemes? How does it pass on? How do we get that new life in from somebody new? That's the question we're asking. We don't know, and we've said expansion. There's risk and reward there. How else do you do it? Is it initiatives? There's no easy answer. I don't think there is an obvious answer either, and I think that's the problem, because I think if it was obvious, we start to see signs of it happening and progressing, and it's something that's not happening.
I don't know. It's a hard one. I don't think it's a bad scheme for tickets. I don't think it's perfect. I don't know how you get a perfect scheme unless you just put two aside, one each for Stevie and Southside, and then just let everybody else battle out.
And go bathrooms. And go bathrooms.
Don't forget my go bathrooms. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's impossible, isn't it?
Aye, it's impossible to satisfy everybody, particularly when you're talking about the numbers. But that's what it is.
Yeah. Aye. Mr. Fox has sent you a message there, I believe, AK.
I just clocked it there.
Let's just say people, there was a lot of F's in it. Yes, is that fair?
Aye. I was just wanting to wish Alex McDonald a happy 78th birthday yesterday. And if anybody's got any memories of the wee man, come on and give us your thoughts about him. I believe he was a fantastic player. I met him actually in the Blue Sky Lounge there last year with my dad, and he was straight off the cuff, the wee man. No airs or graces about him, but it was good to see him fit and healthy still.
Well, one of the Barcelona Bears, yeah.
Aye, absolutely. Where would he play in midfield? Where would you describe him as a midfielder in
In this system, mate, he would be playing where Raskin plays. I would say that there's similarities. And Breck to play up, and he ran forward. I'm very a goal threat. Great, he did the ball like Raskin, mate. Some of the memories and things that you see Alex McDonald or headers, mate. Bizarre. I think he scored a header in a League Cup final, a diving header. Mid-70s, mate. Signed in 1969, I believe, for St Johnstone, mate, from memory. £50,000. And some people thought at the time it was a lot of money, but other people thought when he'd finished, it was some of the best £50,000 we'd ever spent. His transfer fees started to move on. Good Rangers man. Paul Bear has met him as well. I've met him a few times myself over the years. I think he came from Tradeston originally, mate, part of that area of the city. So he lived the dream, mate. Went on to be player manager of the Hearts when he left the club, along with Sandy Jardine. They've still played for the love of the game. Had a reasonable success as manager. Never quite got to be offered the Rangers job, but Fantastic player. I don't think he get any caps, mate, which is mental. Mental. I don't think he did. But a midfielder, hard-working, industrious, could win the ball, put up against guys that were a lot more physical than him. Had a great engine, came late in the ball, scored goals, and one of the he scored goals in cup finals, etc. But I think maybe one of his more famous goals might have been against Juventus, mate. And that night at Ibrox in 1978. And I'm doing this from memory because you've caught me in the hot period, Kate. Right, when he scored.
You're doing well, Ox.
When he scored the first goal, he scored the first goal that night. And we talk about, we talked earlier on about Steaua Bucharest. And I genuinely believe that we could have won that competition. If Terry Butcher hadn't broke his leg, the big DJ had been fit for the 2 games against Cologne. I'm not saying we'd have won it, but we would have went further, in my opinion. But Alan McDonald, a very consistent player, and I think the games he played for us, mate, I'll just check it out. He's up there, mate. He's up there, and you talk about guys that turning up for his work. Alan McDonald would be one of them. I can't remember him missing many games. Who was I checking out? Alan McDonald.
That's great.
512 games, mate.
Wow. And that was over a what period?
He signed in 1968, and he's run of games for the club. 8 in his first season, 15 in his second, then 27, 31, 27. These are just league game starts. 29, 29, 34, 29, 34, 33, and 1979, 80, 23, mate. 97 goals for midfield, mate. But an industrial, hard-working, skillful player, yeah, as well at times. The guy that you wanted in your team. I'm just checking out, mate. I don't think he get any Scotland caps, which is remarkable. Aye. And also, he'll always be doing in folklore, mate. Barcelona Bear. And it was part of the 2 treble winning teams in the 70s, mate. If I remember right, he used to have success a lot in the League Cup. I'm just going to check that out as well.
76, 78, the 2 trebles.
Yes.
As I say, meeting him in Blethren with my dad, I'm kind of earwigging a wee bit, but he said that he used to actually, Ibrox they would leave the gates open, and he would kind of hide in at night and actually play in the goals and all that. Him and his pals had a kickabout on the turf. He says he was brought up in Rangers, and it was a dream come true for him playing for the mighty Glasgow Rangers. But he was a character, the wee man. No airs or graces of it. Dead small in stature as well. I don't know what height he was, but he didn't look much more than 5'4", I would say.
No, he's taller than that, mate.
Well.
5'8", I would think.
Well, maybe it was just me. It was standing next to him and made him look wee. But no, it was good to meet him. Colin Steenie, he would have. Did they sign the same time as him? I think Fox is saying there that Dave White signed him. Sure, Colin said that it was Dave White that signed him, I know.
He didn't get 1976, 1 Scotland cap, mate. 1 Scotland cap.
1 cap for a European trophy winner. Wow. And Scotland had some superstar players back then, but to leave it a European, a Disney thing, worth thinking about now. But aye, thanks for that, Ox. Good memories for anybody that's listening. Come and give us your own memories, Ian.
I've got something in my head that he was very successful in the League Cup. I don't know why, mate. I don't know why.
Fox has put a wee bit of trivia there, Ox. He played in all 9 matches. Rangers knocked out Rennes, Sporting Club, Torino, Bayern Munich, Moscow Dynamo.
2 goals as well on that run, mate.
Aye. Brilliant memories. No wonder the wee man's a legend, eh?
Aye. Big season. Was that his best season? Yeah, that was his best season. He had goal scoring. He scored 18 goals that season. 71,
Nice.
72
Nice.
season. Yeah.
We've got a striker that can't even get double figures now.
Aye. No problem with Alan McDonald being the Hall of Fame. 512 games. Wow. European trophy winner. Double treble winner. You know, big part of our history, mate. Can't take it away from him. I know before your time, Robert. Yeah.
Aye, well before my time, mate, but it's good to hear stories like that. Yourself, Bridge, Albert, I've spoke about many players in the past and the successes that they've had, and the ones that are in the Hall of Fame, rightly so, as you said there, those accolades alone. There's a lot of players still out there that aren't in the Hall of Fame that have done a lot for the club as well. But it's always good to hear stories from the years going past, mate. It's always good to hear previous players and success stories along the way, because you say, big part of your history. It's all there in black and white, mate.
Aye. Fox has described him as a terrific box-to-box player. There you go. If Fox said you were terrific, that's an accolade in itself. He also said I was a waste of a pair of boots, but there you go. Thank you.
So he's right twice tonight then.
Aye. That is a wise man, Mr. Fox. Listen, come and join us. Give your thoughts. 0141 356 1972. I don't know how we're doing the economics of football. You know, it just came in just for the season ticket renewals. I think some of the comments I've seen, people were reading too much into it.
Aye, that's just part of the discussions about our club, the economics, how can we improve things in that, and there's a lot of the discussions that the Americans will probably speaking to our new CEO, Jim Gillespie, joined us the other day. You know, so there's a lot on his plate already to try and improve the club, and I'm sure he'll do a good job at it.
Only time will tell, mate. Only time will tell, but I'll tell you what, I wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely.
You know, do you think it's important that somebody that knows the West of Scotland's in that role? Would that be a tick in the box for you? What are you thinking?
Is that to myself? Or?
Aye. And then Robert.
I think it is. I think Patrick Stewart didn't relate to a lot of your support with some words and actions that he did. So he knows the club. He's brought up in the club. So I'm sure he'll fight our corner far better than our previous CEO done. And even going before him, Bisgrove was a money guy. He had absolutely no affiliation to the club at all. So I think it's wise to have somebody with the savvy, the know-how, to be the business guy, but obviously to relate to what the club's all about and fight a corner if it needs to be fought. I'm pretty sure Jim will do that.
Robert?
I think for me, mate, it is quite important, not just to understand our club and everything surrounding us. I think to understand the whole Scottish football and how they operate at the top table, having an understanding of being involved in a team for many years in the Scottish League, knowing how it's run on a day-to-day basis by those above us. I think that's an important factor. Somebody who maybe came in from elsewhere in Europe maybe not have that understanding and knowledge of how things are done up here. Whereas I think Jim Gillespie will have a fair share of idea how things will go. I think you'll quickly realise how much it changes when you're at St Mirren compared to Rangers. But I'm sure he's a knowledgeable guy who's been quite successful in his own accord. Personally, with his charity work at the Kibble and in Paisley, done well with St Mirren. I think it just helps have that kind of somebody, as AK said, of wherewithal and knowledge of Scottish football as well as Rangers as a whole, rather than somebody from the outside looking in.
I think it's important, and I'll give you my take on it, AK. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, I think that sometimes we're in a war that's a different kind of war. You can argue it's a media war, you can either political, whatever how you want to dress it up. And we need somebody that knows and understand where the arrows are coming from.
I get that. I get that, Ox, and I go back to Graham Souness early days and quotations and stuff when he says nobody likes us, we don't care. But he obviously wisened up to things very quickly. Obviously, his Scottish background helped him to an extent, but he'd been doing in England a major part of his career. But then he started to see things that he didn't like, and he had that. You know, he addressed these players and that siege mentality that he had personally. He also fed into all the new players that came up to our club, and I think we need to get back to that in an extent. And we've got to have that siege mentality where everybody's against us and stuff them, get out and win there. You know, so I think there's a part of that is what you're saying, Ox, reading between the lines.
We touched a bit of this last night. I think the game's changed forever, mate. I don't think you're ever going to get that what we had in the past, mate. That was, unless your whole setup becomes different. You just because Souness pretty much most of the time, by the odd one, of course, but it was all British players, and a lot of them were Scottish as well, mate. You know, and I don't know if you're ever going to get that because football has changed beyond all recognition in that 40 years. Since Souness walked in the door, 1986, mate. Well, it's 40 years this summer, isn't it? You know,
No, you're right, but I'll give you one name, Ox. Lewis Ferguson. Go and get him and make him captain and build a team round about him.
how much would be looking for? How much do you think they'd be looking for Lewis? No.
Well, he's kind of fell out the picture a wee bit. Although Rob mentioned him being Bologna captain and that, I think he could 15 mil.
15 mil.
I think if Danny Rowe sold it and we sold it to the Andrew Kavanagh, he would be that important to our club. You know, to get that connection in that dressing room, I think he could be the difference and build a team round about the boy. He would be that. He's that driving midfielder that Billy spoke about last night that we have been missing for years. I think he would be massive for our club if he came back.
Getting a few things out, mate. Robert?
Oh, he's certainly kicked on from his time at Aberdeen. He's went out to Italy. He's improved. He's obviously became quite a key figure for Scotland at times as well. Maybe not played as a lot of games as he'd like because of the options in midfield, your McGinns and McTominays, but he's an internationalist. He's got the experience being Bologna captain. Would he come back to Scotland? Possibly. Obviously, we can give him a great platform, let's be honest. And Rangers, you say Rangers and it speaks for itself. He obviously has got connections to the club through his family. I'm sure they'd be proud to see him in a Rangers jersey. Is it a missing piece of the jigsaw? Arguably so. AK is right. He's a bit of a driving force. He's a different option from the middle of the park we've got at the moment. But I certainly think you're talking maybe 15 million upwards there. I think it would probably take that plus more, if I'm honest, AK, to get him. But if he wants it, obviously he can do his his things to try and get it happening, but he's certainly a player that we could have had and should have had in the past, and we didn't take that opportunity. And it's, have we paid the price for it? Possibly.
I'm just want to check how many games he's played. His contract's up. He's only got a year left of his contract. I don't think he'd have to pay that money.
Well, even better, get Dad Derek and Uncle Barry on the phone to him. I don't know. I might be thinking pie in the sky and all that. So I just see a boy there that we missed out on, that it could be driving our midfield. And I know the Billy Gilmore thing, we'd no control under that at all. But we've ignored the likes of Warren Shanklin for long enough on our doorstep. We had an opportunity there to go and get him in a free transfer, and because we changed manager, he doesn't like him, but he brings in Chermiti and Miovski, and you know the strikers that we've got. They've not scored double figures between them, for goodness sake. 52 goals we've scored with this team this year in the League Ox, and that's quite pathetic. But when you compare that to Celtic and Hearts as well, they're only 56 goals. You know, and I think Hearts are 52, so it's as well. So it's no, it's been a poor standard the league this year.
Good defenders.
Or aye, I know, but we know what we're watching, and when you see that, I mean, a number 9. I mean, Billy touched on it last night. As I say, you're looking for your number 9. I mean, we let Dessers go. The guy scored 50 goals in 2 years, and we're chasing him out the door. You know, like a man, he wanted out the door. Journey, we've let go out the door. Seema is another one. You know, and you scratch your head and you wonder what the millions that were through their team through the recruitment with the previous manager and Kevin Thirlwell. If we'd have been a wee bit more savvy about the players we've been going for, you know. Aye, I know.
You don't know the answer to that. Well,
but maybe
your Lewis Ferguson one. If the manager who's building the team wanted him, that's it for me. Yeah, that's it. It's not whether we want him or he fits into the mould because he's one of us and he supports the team. If the manager who's building the team wants him, let him go and get him. I've not got a problem with it. Particularly if the deal's right for both parties. Why not? But no room for sentiment. That's my take on it. But if the manager wants him and he thinks, because you've looked at him fall and rise by his recruitment, no just the manager's decision, but recruitment and getting the transfer signed off. A lot of transfers, Robert, aye, go for it. Why not? I don't see a problem. He's the right age, experience, 26, 27. He's we need some experienced pros because some of them might be leaving. Why not? I don't have a problem. He wants to come. It's all ifs. If he wants to come, if we want to sign him, but why not? Robert?
Why not indeed, mate? Why not indeed? And you've said that as well. He's got experience, and we've touched on this before in previous shows where we say we need experience, and I said it last night as well. That doesn't just come with age. Lewis Ferguson, as you say, 26. He's got bags of experience. So just because he's 26 doesn't mean he's an experienced player. If he wants it, the manager wants him, then it would work out well. I'd like to think, if the deal was right for both parties, as you say. Would he improve the squad? I think he would. Would he be a leader? I think he would. So there's a lot of tick boxes, but it's not as easy as that, unfortunately, as we all know. He fits the build as well in the mould of what Danny Rule looks for. He's quite physical, he's tall, he's comfortable on the ball. There's a lot of pluses there. There's obviously other factors surrounding things that would maybe say, no, it's not for us and not for him, but I think there's a lot of things there that are positive, mate, and it's not a bad shoot by Yaki.
Aye, he'll be 27 in August, yeah. Obviously, it'll be weighing up his options, AK, and rightly so, yeah. You know, he's got a year left of his contract, yeah. What does he do? Does he take that gamble? Because it is a gamble if you got heart in it. You know?
Aye, but no, you're right. I mean, listening to his dad quite often, and obviously he keeps in contact with him because he's his boy. You know, he looks after him and goes out and sees him. He says his head's screwed on. He's got good people round about him. I mean, he talks fluent Italian and everything, so it took the Serie A like a duck to water. And there's a lot of Scots boys that's actually been out there. You know, so that they're obviously they see assets in our league that we've ignored. I mean, even lately this year, we're talking about going like to Elijah Just, boy from Motherwell, Elliot Watt, boy from Motherwell, Mashwahizi, you know. Who else have we got? I was quite impressed with the Livy keeper there. St Mirren goalkeeper's been decent. Claudio Braga, Cazaregas. I mean, there are plenty players in our league who were maybe overlooking, we're going to, you know, lower leagues in England and Denmark and Norway and that. And why are we going to Scandinavian clubs and then wondering why the guys aren't motivated to go to St Mirren or Fir Park or Easter Road or that? You know, you're wee Alec McDonald in that. Start filling the team with Scots boys and know what it's all about to wear that shirt. And that's been a problem for us for a few years, particularly after Gerrard left and then Beale broke up the team.
Yeah, but I think there was a start. I think it was St Mirren and Ross County, mate. And there was more Scotsmen playing in Bologna versus I can't remember who. Last
Aye.
night. And they're in like,
I know.
yeah.
Correct, aye.
You're looking back, mate. The game's changed, and how you get it back to where it was. Or you have 11 Scotsmen in your team that played in Barcelona, mate. Will we ever see it again? I don't know, mate. I don't know if we will. But you two might know because you don't look after yourselves.
I don't think we will, Ox, mainly because of the way the academies are done up here. The grassroots level, it's not improved. It's going backwards. There's no talent coming through our Scottish players, not just at our club, but across the whole of Scottish football. I know there's some players out there, AK, that you've touched on and mentioned that are Scottish, but over the whole piece, there's not many young Scottish talents coming through like it was years ago, bringing into the club through the academy, playing first team fit regularly. It's not happening, and I think that's why we're having to go to these countries, even down to England and getting players. There's Giger on loan, McGomer on loan, Moore on loan, all coming from England because of the platform they've been given compared to our young guys have been given. It's night and day. And again, that goes back to those at the head of the table not doing enough for the game.
Aye, we've got ourselves in there. We don't want to sell tickets to people who want them, so we can then improve the game by having different leagues to bridge the gap between first team and youth football. But we'll know there's a lot wrong with Scottish football, you know. But there you go, AKA. Because how do you get that talent through if you can't let it play at the right level to encourage it to get that bridge between youth football and first team football? We've not managed that. And everything, we're not even trying to. We seem to have stopped. The conversations have stopped. Yeah.
No, listen, you're right. In fact, you could actually expand it into English football as well. They were wondering for years why their team was basically doing nothing in international competition. I'm pretty sure Spain, Germany, France, Italy all had a kind of jurisdiction where 75% say of their team had to be homegrown players, and that's obviously improved their national team because they had so many players coming through all the time, whereas England just went, we've got all the money in the world, we can just buy in this and buy in that, and all of a sudden the English players who were getting games were finding themselves in reserves or lower leagues or having to go to other countries to get a game. And I think there's been a part of that in Scotland as well. As you say, you mentioned, well, the Old Firm game there a couple of weeks ago. Many Scots did we have in the park in the two teams? Was it two players? You know, and that's a problem. But the likes of Falkirk and Motherwell, you know, they're starting to show the kind of right to, a few days, develop your own players and give them a chance, then some of the boys are good enough to compete, but they need games, and that's how we put out the likes of Finlay Curtis to get Kilmarnock, because he would never go to an international cap if we'd have held on to him. I mean, people are out there going, we should never have let go of him, and I can get the reasons why, but do you stem the development of a boy just to be selfish so that he can sit on the bench and come on every 10 minutes every game? Because that's just going to kill the development of him, as we've done with
Think about it.
previous players.
Think about it logically. They've decided to bring in an experienced pro to play one of the positions that Finley's going to play in. You think he's going to be a difference maker, and you brought him on and loan with an option to buy. So you say, right, okay, to sort these two things out, young Finley's got to move to get game time because this guy's going to come in, and even up to the summer, Finley's not going to get mentioned. Well, one's worked out and one hasn't. You know, when we all look back, we'd rather have Finlay in there than the performances that Gassama and Scott Olsen have put out in that right-hand side of the forward line, if you like, for the want of a better word, Robert. But however, when you do it at the time, January, it seems to make logical sense when you're bringing in Scott Wilson, as we called him, yeah. And that's not worked out, and that's not Finlay's problem, is it?
No, it's not, mate. That's the gamble of a transfer. As you say, logically, when you think about it, you're bringing a guy in of Scott Wilson's experience and calibre, and you want him to take you to that extra level, improve the squad. Curtis will improve the squad. I've got no doubt about it, Ox. I think he will become a very useful, good player in the future for us. But at that time in January, as you say, there's a guy you've got the option to loan him first. If he works out and Curtis goes to Kilmarnock and plays well, then it's good bit of business all round for all parties involved. Then you can look at the summer and you go from there. But it's the gamble of all transfers, mate. You never know how it's going to work out. As you say, if Scott Wilson came in and was banging in goals and assists and general play was great, and Finlay Curtis is doing what he's doing at Kilmarnock, getting his call up, and you wouldn't be batting an eyelid to say, oh, we should have kept him because he's getting developed and we've got a player who's contributing. But when one isn't happening, that's obviously when you look at it more focused and see it. But I just checked quickly there, guys, as well, just when we were talking about the Scotsmen and foreign players. In our club, we have 81.5% of our first team is foreign players, but the Scottish League as a whole is 65.3 foreigners compared to Scottismen. Just to think that we start there for you.
So basically, if you forget about the goalkeepers, roughly they've got 6 foreigners on the park, we've got 8. Roughly.
Yep. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay. All right, man. Aye, interesting. Yeah. Well, come and join us. We've moved into the last half an hour of the show. Come and join us. 0141 356 1972. There's a lot of conundrums, a lot of things to be solved. They're a gamble, transfers. I like your idea. Never really thought about Lewis Ferguson, but when I look at his age, you look at his experience, look at his stature. I know he had a bad injury, didn't he? He had a reasonably bad injury. But he ticks a lot of boxes because we're going to need some experience in our team. And we're going to need midfielders, and therein lies the problem. But the ball's in his court. He might be happy where he's working and living, and might want to either extend his contract there or move to another Italian club, you know, because the player, it's all his choice, isn't it? Arguably, he's earned the right, AK, yeah.
Oh, definitely, 100%. I mean, 2 years ago, he was in the team of the season in Italy, you know, and he was flying. But that knee injury, I think it was his ACL, you know, that seen him out the kind of picture. And when you fall out the picture, that's when opportunities can become available to you, because that's how we got Gaza. You know, if he didn't have his bad knee injury and that way before he went to Lazio. Who knows what sort of stature of club he could have went to, and could Walter have got him at that stage of his career? You know, but we gave him a new lease of life. Really enjoyed his football, enjoyed the environment he was in, and the platform that we gave him. You know, so it just ticks boxes for me, Ox. You know, but obviously you can't just have one star player. You need to, surround them, and hopefully guys can up their levels round a bit. So, but Danny Rowe, and the four that we've seen, Olsen, Scott Olsen's obviously the disappointment one, but Chitwani, I think, is a very steady midfielder. Just one of the guys that's solid in the middle of the park, and then just shove it onto better players round about him. But we've not got the better players, and that's where the structure kind of falls down. Romans is a real find. Big Naderi works his socks off up top, but you want to see him in the box. So is that down to the structure, or down to the inability of the players round about him to try and link up plays? So we've got we're no the finished article with any manner of means, but we've got 8 games here to try and win a title, and then it's up to the owners to trust Danny Rowe and the recruitment thereafter, because we're building a team again, hopefully for the future.
I think there'll be a lot of comings and goings in the transfer window. You know, I think there'll be maybe some players will move on that maybe came to the club relatively new. Some of them we might want to see the backing of, but other ones it might be that it's too good a deal to knock back, and then you want the money reinvested. But that's modern football.
It is, mate. Players will come and go. One thing we can't do is stand still. We can't be standing still in acceptance that this is good enough, because we know it's not good enough at times this season. Whether we win the league or not, you still want to improve the squad, improve the players. Players will go. Obviously, there's a lot of loan players that will go back to their own teams. We've got the likes of guys out on loan that will come back as well. Is their futures here? Are they elsewhere? There's guys out of contract. So there will be a lot of movement in the summer. Maybe not as big as what we had in this summer or that summer gone by, but there will still certainly be players coming in, coming out. And at this point in time, obviously, Danny's brought in the 4 in January. 2 have looked good. Chukwane, Romans looks a brilliant player. Nadiri, we're still to see what he can offer, because he's not had a lot of chances of goal scoring opportunities. And Scott Olsen's obviously been a disappointment. But the silver lining with that deal is it's only a loan deal. So the 3 guys he's brought in permanent, 2 have showed good stature already. 1 has showed glimpses of his hard work rate and the potential he's got, and the other one was obviously a loan deal. So there will be change in the summer. How much do we think we need? That's a different question, because what you want, what you need, and what you get is 3 different things, mate. I think we can all agree that it's going to be, for me, it's going to be middle to back. Along with a striker, I still think we need another striker, but middle to back, I think is where the focus will be, recruitment.
Well, one left back will be 2 centre backs will be disappearing. We'll be left with Suter and Fernandes. Yeah, if Tav moves on, we'll get 1 right back, and we're short of midfields. Yeah, it's going to be a busy summer, AK.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But we had a busy summer there last year, and we seemed to regress. We seemed to, for a team that won nothing, we get worse. So that this is what Danny Rowe's inherited, and he's trying to make a team. He also runs into a team of winners. There's a long way to go. Obviously, 8 games would be brilliant to win the league this season. But if we don't, I think he's done enough to earn the trust of the people above, that he can build a team and get us into winning ways. Let's hope so, anyway.
Aye. Aye. And there's some blue shoots, mate. It's not perfect, but there's some blue shoots, and we'll see where it takes us, mate. If all these players play it for them that they've showed, we're not a bad side, but they don't do it consistent enough. Anyway, we've been joined by Josh. Evening, Josh.
Good evening, AK, Robert, and yourself, Ox. How you doing? All right?
Right then, Josh.
I'm okay. I'm filled up with this morphine because I had an operation with a cancer last week. I just wanted to come on and say, excuse me, do you think it's a mistake, AK Robert and your Celox, that we loaned out Curtis, considering Olsen hasn't hit the ground running, and
Fair
we need
enough.
somebody?
Maybe just as you were phoning in, Josh, we might have answered that just before you came on, mate. When we think that, I think the two, we all agreed that at the time it made perfect sense. In hindsight, because of Olsen's performances, it hasn't worked out. AK?
I totally agree there, Ox. I just think the lack of game time that the boy was getting was quelling his development. So I think that the manager, the player, the coaches, obviously the club that he was going to, we knew Neil McCann and that. I think he needed game time and consistent game time. So I think it was a decision for the betterment of the player rather than look at the club. As they say, Ox, we didn't foresee that Skov Olsen wasn't going to play well, that Gassama wasn't going to play well, that Ant-Man was going to be out for a duration. So at the time, I think it was the right decision. But on reflection now, we'd all be loving to see Finlay Curtis on that right-hand side.
Robert?
I agree with AK, Josh, that in hindsight, it looks a mistake, obviously, because Skov Olsen's not hit the header on fire. You had reassurances that he was coming to the club, and that's why obviously Finlay could go out on loan to Kilmarnock. But what you weren't going to be assured was that he was going to be playing the way he is. I think if you had that, then you'd say right away that Skov Olsen wouldn't be there and Curtis would be. But at that time, mate, when you've got transfers, I'd say that just before you come in, you've got a guy there who has got the experience and the expectations to be kicking up a level, improve the squad a level, bring his experience to the floor, and he's not done that. So that's why you look at it and say, well, right now, as we stand today, it looks a mistake. But if Skov Olsen had been getting assists, his general play had been good, then we would be quite happy. You've brought a guy in who's contributing, and you've let a youngster go out on loan, get game time, get experiences, get an international call-up. It works well. But when one doesn't, that's when it does look like a mistake, mate.
Josh? I think just in hindsight, mate, it might be a mistake, but at the time it made perfect sense.
Me personally, I just think he was our saviour in some of the games. Remember the goal he got us out of jail with at St Mirren, and he was one of the best players in the team for a young guy. And I think we should have just kept him. Because I love him. I love his passion. Him and Moore would have ripped every park up in the country. Look at Moore, what he's doing. Curtis would have done the same. We would have been in a far better place than now. More confident in everything. I just think there's so many players that are just playing half measured in some of these games. And it's so frustrating. And young guys, young Scottish guys like Curtis are getting loaned out to other teams when we need them, and we're taking risks on players that have been mentioned. It just doesn't register with me. That's my opinion, guys.
I think something. On you go, mate.
Josh, just a question. Listen, I take your point on board, mate, and I'm not going to sit and argue with you, but would it be right for us would it be right for us as a club to put all that responsibility and pressure on a young lad's shoulders of that age to get us through, as you said, give him the game time, drag us through games? It's a lot of pressure for a young boy. Would we have been right to do that?
Personally, Robert, I would answer that as if I was a manager and he was doing his job and he was enjoying his football and he was winning his games with wonder goals at St Mirren, yes, I would take a chance on Curtis. That's my opinion, mate. That is my opinion. I'd rather a tried and tested player that is in form than a player coming into the club that I don't know is going to take time, because we can't afford players to that need time. We need players that hit the ball running, and Curtis was one of your best players before he got loaned out.
What you basing that on, Josh? That Curtis was one of our best players. He started He started one league game.
I just liked it. I just liked the young boy, and he was never okay. He was never given a chance. He was never given a chance. But when we seen him on the park, he never failed. Look at the failures that are in the team now. That'll do nothing.
I like young Finlay Curtis, and I want him to succeed. But really, you're saying he never failed on the park. Did you watch him every game?
Okay. You've been argumentative and opinionated now and picking what I'm saying and all that. But my opinion is Finlay Curtis should be in the Rangers team, because we have not got guys that are Scottish-based players in our team, and that's our problem. We've got foreigners that have got this mindset that, okay, we get beaten last week, I'll see if I turn up next week. That's not good enough for our club. That is not good enough for our club. No, for what we want to win the league. And there's so many players in the team that are doing that now.
The manager of I don't even know if he started. I'm just checking out when he started again. Now, he played a lot of games at the start in Europe, and he done okay. And Finlay's got a knack of things happening in the box when he's on the pitch. Yeah. He started one league game this season. So the manager felt as if we had to develop him so we've got a better player in my hands. And in January, he brings in an internationalist, but it hasn't worked. And let Finlay go for his development. Yeah? And hopefully we get a better player back in the summer. And I think you've got a classic here, Josh. And I'm not being argumentative, I'm talking factual here, because he's only started one game. Right? One league game all season under two managers, arguably three. If you take the caretaker to done again, right? But if you want him to be a better player, you've got to develop him, because the chances are, for most of the time, if he'd have still been in our club, he'd have been sitting on the bench.
I'm of the opinion of that I would have rather him stayed. Improved.
In hindsight, you, me, AK, and Robert could have done a better job than what Scott Volkson has done. But at the time, we think about bringing in a player, a transfer, it's not worked. So it made perfect sense to let Finlay go and develop. AK.
Aye. Listen, I know where you're coming from, Josh. We all want to see Scott's boys in there, but you've got to think big picture as well. And I think that's what's happened here. I don't think Curtis would have been getting the game time. In fact, I know he wouldn't have been getting the game time. He's getting it Kilmarnock now. He certainly wouldn't have made a Scotland team. So at that point of view, selflessly, I think we've made the right call on him. So he comes back to our club as a better player. I mean, it's not the first time that our club's done it or other clubs done it. I mean, I remember, I think, was it David Beckham went out to Preston before he was ready to break into the Man United first team. You know, Alex Ferguson didn't do that, you know, think the play. Well, he obviously thinks of the player, but he could have had Beckham sitting on the bench just watching guys and training the guys. That doesn't develop players. We need to learn our lesson there. We like to say young Bailey Rice and Leon King, and that we've basically killed the boys' career because they're not getting game time. No, that's the manager's decision, and maybe it's getting orchestrated with the wage that certain guys is on, because you're going to be looking to pay. I mean, the owner will be saying, "Why is my 30 grand a week player no playing in front of a boy that's earning 4 grand a week?" I don't know what the figures is, but you know what I'm saying. So I think there was a lot of people involved in the conversations, and they've decided to say, I think the boys better going to come on, get 90 minutes or as much 90-minute games as they can, with then learn a bit of the game, and then come back to us next year and we've got a better player. I think that the boy will go from strength to strength on the back of that.
Might have been a masterstroke, Josh. He might have helped Hearts throw up 3 points at the weekend.
And they might not
Aye,
even get a... My comeback on that is, if I could please, is the young boy might not even get a game next season, because we're going to have a busy transfer. We're going to have a busy transfer window. Agree?
He might know, mate, but see if he's good enough. Hopefully he gets there, mate.
I hope he does. I hope he does, Ox. I hope he does. I was going to come on about 9 o'clock, but then I took a bad turn with the morphine and stuff. I should have, because this is a good conversation. I should have.
Well, unfortunately, not Mr. Fox doesn't pay us any overtime, Josh. You know, so.
Well, he's in the pub. He's in the pub and he was singing a wee song to me.
That's no Mr. Fox. That's no Mr. Fox.
Who is that?
Who's
the guy?
Officer. That's old school blue, mate. He's
that's right.
Aye.
He always has a good chat with him.
HR financial officer and chief bottle washer, Mr. Fox is. Right, okay, we've reached that time. Look, I'll tell you another thing about young Finlay, and it's bizarre in football. See, when you're not playing for a team, you become a better player. Everybody forgets about the bad games you've won. No comment. Right, we've reached that time in the evening. We're going to wrap up. Yeah, Josh, good to hear from you, mate. I'm glad you're feeling slightly better.
I'm a wee bit better, but still got a long way to go. It was a wee bit of bone. A day at a time for me. But I'm glad I came on, spoke to AK and Robert, yourself as well. Thanks for having me on. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. AK.
Cheers, Josh. Thanks to Josh to come on. I reiterate your comments there. I hope you're improved, your health is improving. But thanks for your contribution as always, Josh. No, I enjoyed that tonight, Ox. Good discussions with yourself, Rob and Josh for coming in there. Hope everybody else did. On to tomorrow night and the night after, and then we look forward to the game at the weekend. Thanks again, guys.
Robert.
Good show again tonight, mate. Good discussion. Good to hear from Josh as well. Hope you're feeling better as well, mate. Good to hear things are improving for you. Always good to do a show, Ox, with yourself, and of course AK. As AK said, it's getting closer to Saturday, mate. It's nearly kick-off time, and it's another game in these cup finals, so I'm sure we'll ramp up the build-up as the shows go on throughout the week. Cheers for having me again, mate.
5:45 Saturday night,
Mental, eh?
No,
TV packages.
We're not used to that. Certain teams are just starting their second half, usually.
Aye, well, that may just finish before yours kicks off, mate. You never know.
Listen, thanks to Josh for popping in and joining us. Thanks to AK and Robert for doing the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Old School Blue.